Sarawak has got a number of SMEs. Sorry if the numbers are not accurate, but you have this battery company in the Pending Industrial Estate, employing about 300 people, manufacturing automotive battery sales of 103 million. Half of its sales are being exported. Half. This company is already exporting. This from Sarawak, already exporting its products to a few countries, and some of them are in ASEAN, and it is exporting to Australia, for example. So we expect this company to do a bit better when TPP comes into force. More opportunities, a bigger market overseas. This is another Sarawak company, edible oils in Bintulu, 180 employees. Not too sure what numbers there. East Asia Palm Products, because TPP provides better market access into a number of TPP countries. Kim Hin, this is in Kuching. This company is already exporting to a number of TPP countries, to Australia. About half of its product is currently being exported. So these are some examples of small, medium companies in Sarawak which are already exporting to the world, including TPP countries, Roptech. This is part of the oil and gas supply chain. The other fear is Malaysia will be invaded by multinational companies. These are big companies. My reply to that is that the multinational companies are already in Malaysia. You go to Penang, Shah Alam, Johor, and of course in Kuching, you already have multinational companies. I mean, when we say about invasion by multinationals, it is as if there's something new for Malaysia, Sarawak. The fact is, these companies are already in Malaysia. The other, for example, in Sarawak, you have Hitachi Global, HGST, which is here. Tayo, these are Japanese companies which are already here. So Sarawak has already been invaded by some multinational companies. If you consider Hitachi is a big company, of course, so it is not something new. But a very important point that I want to share with you is that Malaysians are big overseas. There is 600 billion ringgit of Malaysian investments overseas. 600 billion ringgit. Petronas, UE, SP Steer, EPF, Tabung Haji, Tentera, they are overseas. 600 billion ringgit worth of Malaysian investments overseas. And there's 500 billion ringgit of American, Japanese, foreign investments in Malaysia. So Malaysia is a big player in the world. So TPP is not only about providing good access to foreign companies in Malaysia, it is about protecting Malaysian companies overseas. As a matter of fact, there's more Malaysian money overseas than there is Malaysian money in foreign money in Malaysia. In New Zealand, for example, Rimunan Hijau is in New Zealand. I'm not too sure how many acres of forest concessions they have in New Zealand, but New Zealand is a TPP country. So we want to protect Hitachi and Tokoyama, which is in Sarawak. We want to provide access to them here. At the same time, we have to understand that Malaysians are big overseas. The biggest foreign investment in Canada is by Petronas. And for Petronas, that's the single biggest investment overseas. That's 6 billion Canadian dollars. So 600 is a very important point. I've been repeating this everywhere I go, that there is a lot of Malaysian investments overseas, and we want to provide facilitation to them. And one way is to be part of TPP. For example, when we negotiate on the oil and gas sector with my Canadian counterpart, Petronas is already in Canada. So he's telling me that we have provided you help and facilitation to enable Petronas to enter the Canadian market. That being the case, he says, it's only fair that Canadian companies operating in Malaysia should be given a better access. So you have to be fair. There's got to be reciprocity. Petronas has been allowed to invest in Canada. Therefore, my friend from Canada told me that Malaysia has got to reciprocate by making it easier for Canadian companies to operate in Malaysia. So it's about timbal balas. But this point about 600 billion, 500 billion ringgit is a very important point. These are some companies which are operating. Sorry, I don't have Rimunan Hijau here, but it should be here because we're in Sarawak. But these are peninsula-based companies. Sandrabi, Kazana belongs to us. Petronas belongs to us. So these are. Axiata is number 6 in the world in mobile phones. Number 6 in the world. Axiata is in Singapore, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, in Bangladesh, in Cambodia, Vietnam. This is a Malaysian company. They're big. Okay, the other issue, of course, as far as the states are concerned, we have brought TPP to a number of meetings of chief ministers and Menteri Besars in Kuala Lumpur, and Menteri Besars and chief ministers are aware of our involvement, our negotiations on TPP. From our point of view, we've been talking to the states. We have not taken any commitment in areas which will affect the jurisdiction and rights of the state government. That will be, Sarawak has got additional provisions, of course, but in general, when it comes to land or minerals, these are under the federal constitution. Is it Article 74? We have the schedule. Some are under federal government, some are under the state. The TPP does not intrude into the rights of the state government. Okay, one area is employment and immigration. Okay, and as you know, we have special provisions for Sabah Sarawak. These provisions, these laws will not be amended. Issuing a foreign worker permit will be subject is state government prerogative. So, of course, TPP is about allowing foreign professionals to work in Malaysia, subject to certain conditions. With TPP, we're not going to amend. We're not going to require the state government to amend the constitution. The state government will continue to have a prerogative when it comes to issuing foreign permits to foreign workers. Okay. The other issue of Islam and halal. Some Muslim friends have been telling us that TPP will erode the rights of Muslims. There's a few people who asked the Majlis Fatwa to issue a fatwa whether TPP is halal or haram. There's one member of parliament who had suggested that the Majlis Fatwa Kebangsaan should make a stand whether TPP is halal or haram. From our point of view, we believe that TPP will not erode the position of Islam as the official religion of Malaysia, and neither will it disallow Malaysia from using its halal logo. So Islam and religion is well protected. We have done a couple of cost-benefit analysis, and one was done by Pricewaterhouse, another was done by ISIS. Pricewaterhouse, of course, is a reputable international consulting firm, and in the opinion of PwC, TPP will result in an increase in GDP, will result in additional investment, will result in some increase in wages, will result in creation of additional employment opportunities. So these are some benefits, and it recognizes that we made some concessions. And at the bottom there, your bottom right, PwC expressed some concerns. Firstly, they say our trade surplus might narrow. We continue to enjoy a trade surplus, but from about 5.2% of GDP, it might go down to 4.3%. And some firms in oil and gas, in the view of PwC, might feel additional pressure. So these are some concerns highlighted by PwC. So the study has been quite balanced. The study talks about benefits as well as some concerns, and this is very useful for government. ISIS says overall it is in the national interest of Malaysia to be involved in TPP, but it recognizes that some Bumputras might feel additional pressure coming from additional competition. That's a fair comment, and we are mindful of some of these comments. Okay, the fear for Malaysia is that if we're not part of TPP, we'll be left out. Brunei is part of it, Singapore is part of it, Vietnam is part of it. Singapore and Malaysia, 40 years ago, we were at the same level of development. We were both poor countries. 40 years ago, Malaysia and Singapore were poor countries. Now Singapore is a developed nation. Singapore's per capita income is now 5 times higher than that of Malaysia. And if Singapore is part of TPP, we believe that the gap between Malaysia and Singapore may grow even wider. Vietnam is doing very well. Last year, Vietnam was one of the star performers in ASEAN. It achieved a rate of growth of almost 7%. And going forward, Vietnam is going to continue to enjoy good rates of growth. And Vietnam has been doing well, partly because it's become more open. Our fear is if Vietnam is part of TPP, we are not, Vietnam will be more competitive and Malaysia will be left behind. A few companies operate in all the TPP countries in ASEAN. Some companies operate in Singapore, Malaysia, and Vietnam. And of course, they have a choice. We cannot force them to locate the operation in Sarawak or in some other part of Malaysia or Singapore or Thailand. Intel, for example, is in Singapore, in Malaysia, and in Vietnam. And in the event we're not part of TPP, and Vietnam and Singapore are in TPP, there's a possibility that Vietnam and Singapore will become even more attractive to those companies. So we believe that we're not part of this process, we'll be left out, and we stand to lose. By being in the agreement early, we are in a position to shape the direction of TPP. For example, when it comes to Bimputra issues, halal, state rights, we have been in the position to ensure that we protect those rights. But if you come in a later stage, there's no guarantee that we'll be able to get those safeguards. So these are some safeguards we've been able to get from our partners in the TPP negotiation process. I've gone through a few of those things. When it comes to government contracts, for example, 30% Bumiputera, and TPP excludes the state government, of course. It excludes public-private partnership, rural areas. No American can be involved in a rural development project in Sarawak, for example. That's not open. And for state-owned enterprises, it's 40%. And we've exempted EPF, Co-op, LTAT, Mara, Traju. These are not covered by the TPP. We've been able to get lots of exclusions. Okay, what's the way forward? I'm in a hurry, of course, partly because it's going to Parliament, 26, 27. So I've got a small window to go to the ground and explain to the people what TPP is all about, to allay some of the concerns expressed by members of the public. 26, I'm going to present this to Parliament. 27, there'll be a voting in the Dewan Rakyat. If the Dewan Rakyat approves this agreement, then 28, I'll go to Dewan Negara, and there'll be a voting in Dewan Negara as well. And if both houses approve the agreement, then I'll do the signing in February 2016. And TPP will be ratified. There's a process called ratification, where we're required to do certain changes to the laws. And if Parliament approve all those changes to the laws, then TPP will come into force in 2018. In the event we approve TPP, Parliament approves TPP, but some of the changes in legislation do not go through Parliament. In the event Parliament does not approve some of the proposed amendments, then we cannot be part of TPP. So this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. We're beginning with the signature process in February, and in the event we sign the agreement, we have 2 years to do some changes to the laws, and if Parliament does not approve those proposed changes, then Malaysia cannot be part of TPP. So it's not a done deal yet. We have a long way to go, and in the event we're part of TPP, there will be the first review in 3 years. There will be 2021. Assuming TPP comes into force in 2018, 2021, the first review, and after that, it will be once every 5 years. So, Yang Hormat, Dato Petinggi, Menteri-Menteri, Honorable Speaker, tuan-tuan sekalian, terima kasih banyak. That's it. I've spoken for about 1 hour, and now I would like to open the